It's me again. So I'm a little bit less emotional tonight. I'll probably get emotional. So today I had a suppression check to see how things have been quieting down because we are going through our third embryo transfer pretty soon. But I'll get onto that in a little bit. So anyway, I went in, and whenever I go into my clinic, Seattle Reproductive, I go to the location that's in Tacoma, and this is in Washington. We have 3 different locations. I don't know, there might be more, I have no clue. But I've only been to 2 of them. But the one I go to, it's a lot smaller, and when I first made my appointment, I had just left a different clinic that it wasn't a good fit for me. And I'd reached out to a few other really reputable clinics in the area, and this was the first one I could get in with, and it was Dr. Nicole Barker. And I started reading about her, and I loved the fact that she had gone through IVF herself. Anyway, so that's why we chose this clinic. I'll probably talk more about Dr. Barker and how amazing she is later. But anyway, so this clinic that I go to, it's a lot smaller than the other ones. And it's like family. Like, I walked in today and the girls at the front were like, "Hey, Lauren," and part of me is like, oh, is this a sign that I've been going here for so long, or is it a sign that like they're just genuine and they are family? And anyway, I don't know, but they make me feel good every single time that I walk in there and every time that I leave, and they're so friendly. And so I had to get my blood drawn after my suppression check, and Misty, one of the girls who works there that does the blood draws, she always wears one of the masks that I've made. So since the beginning of the pandemic, I've started making face masks, and I first started making them just because, and then I started getting obsessed with it because the one place I was going was this fertility clinic, and the girls at the front they couldn't talk in the ones they were wearing, and so I was like, I'm on a mission to make these a little bit better for them. It's kind of what I went to school for, and I enjoy it, and I didn't know that it was going to turn into something that was going to get me through a really difficult time going through fertility treatment. Anyway, so I don't know, I'm getting emotional now, but so Misty was wearing one of the first like masks, the OG mask that I had made, and they weren't that great, but she still wore it all the time and always makes sure to tell me how much she loves it. Anyway, the ear loops on them were like falling apart and were so ragged, and so I brought things to remake them for her. I don't know where I'm going with this. How do people do this? Good grief. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna blame this on the Lupron, and I'm gonna get back on track. Oh, I just looked like my sister. Anyway, Misty. That's kind of where I was going with this. She is such a delight, and since day one that I met her there, she's always had this positive attitude, and it doesn't matter if I've been sitting in traffic for the drive, because I don't know how many of them know it, like, this isn't the closest clinic for me. They have other locations that are half the distance, but I drive there. Even if I have to get my blood drawn and I have the option of just going to the closer one, I always go to them. I know I'm never gonna have to wait. They're just so nice, and it's just so worth it. But in any case, she always has a really, really positive attitude. Like, I don't know what kind of like magical unicorn potion she drinks in the morning, but it works and it's contagious. And Misty has made my day so many times. But anyway, so today I was fixing her mask for her. And she tries to give me money for it. And I was like, no, are you crazy? And I appreciated it so much, the gesture, but what they give to me is invaluable. And I realized, I don't know when it was, like 4 or 5 months ago, it was actually Misty, that it was just her and I there. They weren't that busy that day, and she'd asked me something like, I don't know, and I just kind of blurted out that, so we were pregnant at the time, and we were waiting to see about the HCG results, so to see if they had double. That's one of the pregnancy hormones, and if it did double, that's a good sign that the baby was growing. Normally for us, it never ends well. We never have a good start. They will keep doubling, and then at some point they don't, and ends in a miscarriage. But so I was finally able to kind of like, I don't know, Misty and I kind of broke that wall where I was able to talk to her about things, and I asked her, I said, you don't really ever get to know about what we're going through. You know, they can't ask nurses, like, hey, what's Lauren's story? And so I just started talking to her about it, and it felt so good. And it felt so good to have someone that's there for you when they don't even realize it, know what you're going through, and know what an impact they're making on your life. You know, and maybe know why some women, when they come in, they're in a really crappy mood. Because we're full of hormones, which is why I'm crying. I don't know. I'm so grateful for this clinic. In the last video I recorded, I was talking about how only people that have gone through what you're going through can understand. And I don't think that's necessarily true, or really what I said wasn't exactly what I meant. I've realized through this as well that all of these nurses and the care team, they get it. And a lot of them have actually gone through similar struggles. We don't get to hear about it. Or if we do, it's brief. But even if they haven't, they've been there. You know, they've held women's hands through losses. We, with our last pregnancy loss, had to have a DNC, and since it was the middle of COVID, my husband couldn't be there. And I was so used to, like, any time I had some sort of surgery that I'd wake up and he would be there. But he just couldn't be this time. Couldn't even. That was hard. I remember waking up and this nurse Katie, who I've just come to adore, was there. Not only her, but Claire, one of the other nurses, and a few others that Ruth, who I didn't know at the time, but I just remember waking up from anesthesia and she was wearing a face mask that I had made them. And I woke up and I smiled. You know, I was there for a terrible reason, but I was surrounded by family when mine couldn't be there. So these women do get it. I've had so many crazy connections with all of these nurses, and I can't even express my gratitude. So if any of you ever watch this and you wonder why I'm never gonna accept a damn thing from you, this is why. You're the reason I'm able to get up every morning. And smile. I'm not like this most of the time. Just when it's late and I'm tired and I'm having hormones pumped in my body that my body is like, what the hell are you doing? Gosh, but everyone there is just great. Even some of these doctors, like, they're so busy all the time. Dr. Paulin, I gave one of the nurses a mask to pass on to him, and within 20 minutes he emailed me and said thanks. My doctor today, I made her daughters a couple, because it's easy for me, and it's just a small way I can tell her thank you for taking the time for me so many times. And she emailed me right away just to say thanks. Oh, and then there's my nurse Lisa, or my nurse coordinator. But I'll save that for a longer day. But she's the best. Anyway, again, I don't know who I'm talking to. I think talking out loud, and maybe eventually any of the care team seeing this and knowing how much y'all mean to me, that's worth me putting myself out there in this weird ass way. With all of my gray hairs on full display. My weird dog passed out. No, I should pass out, but I won't. I'll be cutting fabric for a while. Okay. Go fertility, infertility, I don't know what to call it.